Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris Twine and this is the all-new Quest Q35 metal detector. I just took it down to the beach to test it out on the dry sand, the wet sand, and in the salt water, just to see how it performed. I took my trusty 3 targets with me, which is the small little 1 Rand coin, the 1 gram gold coin, as well as the silver ring. Why did I take those targets? Well, the 1 Rand is the smallest of our currency, so I know if it can find the 1 Rand coin, then the 2 Rand or 5 Rand, which is even bigger and heavier, will find it at even better depths and even get a better response from the machine. Same with the 1 gram gold coin. It's so small, so light, it's like finding a very fine gold ring. So if there's a heavier gold ring out there, the machine will find it even deeper and even the tone will be even better. So it's like taking the worst case scenario basically to test these machines and see how well they handle it. So let's head down to the beach now and check out how this machine performed. Just test here. So 1 scoop, and remember again, this is a big scoop. I'm just gonna go a proper decent size scoop down. That'll be a good test site. So let's get some targets out. Let's start with the coin. All right, so we're going to start with a 1 Rand little coin. Just going to throw it in there, cover that up. And let's have a look on 80 sensitivity. Yeah, no problem. I also just want to test and just see what it sounds like on a different mode. So let's go to park mode and just see if that makes any difference, what sensitivity we're on here. So also bump that up, 80 at least. So you can use park mode on the beach, like on the dry sand. Might even be better than the beach mode, because that's picking that up beautifully. Going back into beach mode 1, which is wet sand. And that's no problem, but the tone does sound better on the park mode actually. So let's go back to park mode. Lovely response there on park mode. All right, let's try it a little bit deeper. Let's get it out. There it is. So actually really liking the response on park mode. Let's try deeper. So, I mean, that was a pretty decent size hole, but it's wet sand, so let's really test the capabilities of these machines, what we're out here for. All right, so this is really a deep hole. So let's see. Let's get it in there a little bit deeper. Oh, there we go. Very keen to see if it's going to pick this up now, because this is super deep. Super deep. Okay, we're on park mode. Yeah, it's picking that up as a solid but faint signal. But certainly you would dig that for sure. And let's bump up the sensitivity, since we're only on 80. 90 seems stable. Okay, wow. So that's actually picking that up. No problem. Let's try and change that to beach mode. There we go, beach mode, the first one, the wet sand setting. Yeah, picking that up. On wet sand, it's not showing me a number at all, but you can hear the tone. Much softer tone on the beach mode compared to park mode. Okay, so park mode also doesn't show me a number because it's so deep, no target ID. But a nice tone, definitely digging that. All right, that's deep. Let's get that out. Still in there. I missed it. Oh, there we go. There it is. All right. Coin test passed. Well, if we can find that coin, we know it's going to find the rest, but we'll try it. Let's get something else out here as a target. Okay, this is the silver ring. This is that super deep hole that we found that coin, that we tested with the coin. We are gonna go super deep on the silver ring. Actually quite impressed with the depth out of this thing. I mean, this isn't a high-end machine, considering, yet the depth was lovely. Okay, park mode. So in park mode, so you're getting a slight squeal. Definitely picking it up, but not a nice solid tone like we were getting with the R1 coin. Getting a target ID now and again. I would say a very, very faint signal. Just want to go around and see if it's stable enough to make you actually want to dig that target. I think maybe, you know, you could investigate that target if you were going over and that's what you heard. I mean, it's picking that up, eh? Okay, let's try it on wet sand, beach mode 1. Yeah, just liking that. Nice and stable elsewhere on the dry sand. And you come over here. And it's picking that up. No target ID again because it's so deep. But you can definitely hear a solid repeatable signal. Now, although it's not screaming at you, it's definitely something you would investigate. All right, just get that out. See, now you're getting the solid, nice, squeaky tone that you know it's nice and shallow. You're getting your target IDs, 8990, high target ID. Definitely in the silver range. Pinpoint. I guess it's 0, you're right on it. I kind of like these tones, actually. There it is. Okay, that was pretty impressive. You know what I also want to try, actually? So this is the same depth that we picked up that silver coin. This is the same depth as what we picked up the silver ring previously, but I was using 13 kilohertz. I'm very keen to actually try changing that. It's changed the kilohertz. See, we're on 13 kilohertz. Let's bring that down to 5 kilohertz and see if that makes a difference, because the lower the frequency, you should get more depth, and it should be better for high conductive metals like silver. So let's see if that actually improves it. So that's 5 kilohertz. So definitely picking that up. Nice and stable elsewhere, so it's definitely picking that up as a target. All right, I'm gonna go down to park mode and see how that sounds on 5 kilohertz. Ew. Okay. Machine's like singing at me. Definitely a lovely target that. On 5 kilohertz. Stable elsewhere. Come over there. So I think park mode's actually the right mode to be using in the dry sand here at the beach. Let's change the frequency, just so you can hear the difference. Let's go to the band and we'll go back to 13. This is the one we originally tried. So still no hassles on 13. Let's go up to 21. Band 21 kilohertz. Right, now this might battle a little bit more on 21 kilohertz, but let's have a... Yeah, so it's picking it up, but not as nice as 5 kilohertz. But still absolutely no problems. Let's just go to beach mode. Wet sand on 21 kilohertz. Yeah, so picking it up, no problem, but 5 kilohertz would be the best one for the silver, but still no problem picking it up. Okay, so that was a good test. Let's go back to standard 13, which is going to be your best general all-round kilohertz band to use on the beach. Let's get it out. All right, this is the 1 gram gold coin. Now, that's going to be way too deep for this machine to find a 1 gram gold coin, but for the benefit of us all, let's just try it and see what happens. But I reckon this is going to be too deep for a 1 gram gold coin. So it could have also been a very fine gold ring. All right, let's see. Okay, what are we on? We're on wet sand at 13 kilohertz. Let's see, is it gonna pick it up? I'm actually very surprised. I'm actually getting a feedback. Yeah, it's pretty stable everywhere else, so it's definitely picking up that gold coin. Now, the machine's definitely not shouting at me. That's a very faint signal. There's no target ID. But I mean, let's give credit to this machine. It's actually picking it up. Right, now gold. Okay, gold we know is actually better picked up at higher frequency. So let's try change the frequency to 21. And let's see if that actually improves anything. But the higher the frequency, the less depth you get. So it could actually be less beneficial in this case, but let's try. Oh no, that's better. So 21 kilohertz is picking that up even better. Wow, that's actually getting me a solid tone. Again, no target ID because it's so deep. But listen to that. That's picking that up like there's no problem. And we saw how deep that was. That's insane. All right, let's try in park mode because I still think I'd be using park mode in dry sand. So let's go down to park. We're still in 21 kilohertz. Let's see if that sounds any better. Well, look at that. We're actually getting a target ID now in park mode. And it's picking it up, no problem. That's insane, the depth that I'm getting. See, target ID's jumped a little bit. Now we've lost the target ID, but the tone has not gone away at all. Constantly given me a tone of a target ID. Wow, it's insane. Okay. I mean, let's take it up. I'll show you again how deep that was. That's insane. That was so deep. Look at that. And that was at 21 kilohertz on park mode. But even on beach mode, salt water, on wet sand, we found that no problem. Wow, it's It actually blows my mind a little, like Quest Q35. The depth I'm getting out of this machine. Wow, okay. Well, I'm quite happy to know that anything on dry sand will be found. So, picked up the coin, picked up the silver ring and the gold coin at incredible depths. Alright, well, let's see how well it works on the wet sand. So I was picking up a 77 here. What is this? Well, let's just dig it. I mean, this is not a planted item that I put down. This is actually just random. So let's actually just see what it is. How deep is this? This did come out. There we go. Ah, it's a little lead sinker. Well, there we go. We've got a lead sinker that we can add to our tests. So what else is it picking up, though? Maybe there's something else in here. I mean, I'm right next to this tower, metal tower, but I don't think it's that. I think it's picking up something else as well, so let's see. What else is it finding here? Oh, yeah, another one. Okay, so we've just picked up 2 little lead sinkers. But I think there's something more in here. Okay, well, since we're here, I mean, let's just dig it and see. Didn't really come here planning to hunt the beach. I was actually just... wanting to plant a few finds and see how it goes, but this thing is picking up some lead sinkers all the time. Well, there we go. Another little lead sinker. So it looks like this is actually flooded with lead sinkers. I found enough lead sinkers out of this hole. I'm not really here for that, so I'm just gonna close up this hole. And I actually want to test it here on the wet sand. This is more interest to me. Okay, now we can hear the machine is not happy. It's beeping at every swing, so we know we can't use it like this. So our sensitivity is too high. We haven't ground balanced. We're in park mode. Unusable on the wet sand. So let's change our settings now to the wet sand. Let's actually go to beach mode, wet sand. That should help calm it down. Okay, so it's definitely helped calm it down, but still getting a few chirps here and there, more than I would like. So I'm going to bring the sensitivity down to 75, see how that goes. All right, so definitely more stable at 75, but still quite chirpy. The odd chirp. Like, you definitely hear the difference between a real target and a chirp, but I still don't like it. So let's try and ground balance. There we go. We got a ground balance result of 3. Ah, there we go. So now it's sounding much better. Now it's happy. So we're on the wet sand. We've ground balanced it. And now there's not a single chirp at all. That's how I like to detect. Nice and stable. Let's try putting the sensitivity up a little now. Now that we've ground balanced. Still happy at 80. Let's try going higher. Let's try 85. Yeah, still happy at 85. Okay. Let's try 90. Okay, you can hear 90's on the edge of it being happy and unhappy, but still good enough to detect with. So let's leave it on 88. All right. So wet sand, ground balanced, nice and stable. Right, let's try a target. I'm pretty much guessing that we're not going to get the same depth as we got in the dry sand. So let's try a depth of about this. In fact, let's try deep first. Okay, that's super deep for a wet sand hole. Obviously, I don't use measuring tapes and things like that. I don't need to know exact depths. I just want to see real world how it performs. Okay, I can't find the coin right now, so let's start with the silver ring. That's a deep wet sand hole. Right. Right. So, see. It's picking it up, but I just want to see how stable. Yeah, it is stable. There comes the water. Let's not lose where it is. I don't feel like losing the ring. Okay, so right now, if I was detecting, although it gave me a slight beep, I would walk right over that. I wouldn't dig that, to be fair. That is not being picked up nicely now. Let's just try since there's water in here, let's just try the mode up, which is the salt water mode. So it is picking that up, but yeah, okay, fair enough. Why did that pick that up but another mode didn't? That's interesting. It's picking it up, but it's like not a strong signal. But it's picking that up, eh? I just want to try the different kilohertz. So that was 13 kilohertz. We know silver works better at a lower frequency. Oh, we're on 21 kilohertz. We're not even on 13. So let's try 13. That should be better. Slightly better. Not a massive difference. But it is picking it up. Stability around. Yeah, okay, that is picking that up. But let's try it on 5 kilohertz. Band, let's go down to 5 kilohertz. Yeah, and it is picking that up even better. Still no target ID, but you are getting that slight that tone to investigate. I just want to see what happens if we do change the mode to park mode, like we enjoyed on the dry sand. Now that we have ground balanced, so it's pretty stable. It's interesting how the park mode definitely jumps more at you. You get the target ID, you get the better tone. But is it stable? Yeah, it's pretty stable. So park mode, now that we've ground balanced, the machine is actually pretty stable. So you can use park mode on the wet sand as well. So the tone doesn't jump out at you, but it's there. All right, let's go. Is it still in there? Okay, now that it's out, you can hear the difference in tone. That's a tone that's jumping out at you, nice target IDs. That you'd obviously dig, no problem. Let's go back into wet sand mode. Yeah. And that's definitely what you'd be digging. I think in wet sand mode, salt water, the beach mode completely, to have headphones on with these tones coming straight into your ears would be much better. You'd hear it clearer, but no problem there at all. It's just fun my ring. Right. Okay. Shit. Okay, I don't know what happened there with my sound, because I was recording my sound, and all of a sudden I started hearing myself as a playback. All right, I think I bumped a button in my pocket, and I started hearing myself, actually, through my recording equipment. So I don't know how much sound I've lost, but I've re-recorded now, and we can see what we're getting. All right, this is the gold coin. It's buried about 1 scoop down. We're on saltwater mode. I'm just going to change the frequency up a little bit because it's gold. Let's go up to 21 and see if we get a better response. Now bear in mind, this is only 1 gram. Hello, doggy. Maybe the dog can dig for me. 1 gram, so it's not going to be a massive target or massive response. It's picking it up, but very light. Now I'm battling to hear it at all. And I'm going to go down to 13 kilohertz, which is your average, what you'd be using. Oh, don't lose my gold coin. Right, there it is. Let's pack that away. All right. So, wet sand with water. We're going to put the little 1 rand coin in. Let's see how that goes. Right. 1 rand buried. Let's see. What mode are we on? Let's test. We're going to be on salt water, 13 kilohertz, and at about 75 sensitivity. Yeah, it's being picked up with the correct target ID. Just not a very screaming tone, that's all. It's not like some other machines that stops you in your tracks and go, wow, it's a cracking sound. But you can definitely pick up a solid, repeatable signal. And then obviously the shallower it gets, then the machine starts shouting at you. All right, so not so much in the wet sand, but in wet-ish sand. Just gonna do a little hole here for the 1 rand coin. In it goes. So we are in the wet sand, just not in the saltwater wet sand, with water actually coming in. But you can see water has been here recently. No hassles. Doesn't matter which angle you come on that one, you will find that. No hassle at all. Maybe we should try a little deeper. Okay, let's try a little bit deeper. So we'll go another scoop down. Hold this. Let me also just, okay, so we're in saltwater mode still. So it's picking that up, but let's change it to what we would be using here probably, which is the wet sand mode. Wet sand mode, we had 90 sensitivity. We're in 13 kilohertz. So more than likely what we would be using. Yeah, no problem. A decent depth on the wet sand, picking up the R1 coin. Are we getting stability? Yes, we are. And then, bam. Again, you can hear on this machine, it's telling you it's a very deep signal. It's not screaming at you at all, but it's there. It's picking it up. All right. Yo. You may, but I am recording, so you want to be on YouTube?
That's okay.
Okay. So I'm just testing out this new machine. It's a metal detector. It can pick up any kind of metal. So silver, gold, coins, whatever is lying under the sand here at the beach, it can be picked up.
Turn the ground.
So I just threw a R1 coin in, just testing this particular machine. It's a new one. I sell these things, so basically I just like to use them and show the guys how it works and how it operates. So, but very cool for the beach, nice hobby, get out, and you never know what you're going to find. So, yeah, exactly right. And you can find some really cool stuff. So, that's nice. Okay, thanks, you too. Cheers, man. People always curious about what we're doing on the beach. Okay, so I can hear that the machine's starting to become a little bit unstable again here on this part of the wet sand. Now I could ground balance again, but I'm also keen to see there's what's called ground tracking. If you go down to ground balance and you press the setting button once, we're now tracking on. So it should track the ground balance. There we go. Listen to that. I could calm down quite a bit. It's actually become very stable. So this is with tracking on, ground tracking. So it's doing the ground balance for me, so I don't have to sit pumping the coil when I change from the different settings. So let's go take a walk down to the wet sand and see if it stays stable. Let's see if I bang the coil on the ground, I get a bit of a signal, but that's staying nice and stable. And we're on wet sand, so I'm going to change it now to salt water because we're getting close to the salt water. I'm going to go in the salt water. Sensitivity, we had it about 76. We have tracking ground balance on. And the machine is staying nice and quiet. So ground tracking actually seems to work really nicely. I'm not getting one little squeak. Just go into the water and see. Oh, yeah, it didn't need that much water. Oh, don't want to get my recording equipment all wet. Hey. All right. Okay, raised coil. It's taking in too much. Let's try changing the sensitivity. There we go. So sensitivity was a bit high in the water.
it was giving me the raised coil signal, which means kind of like it's the overload signal. So when that happens, you need to just reduce your sensitivity. Okay, now that I'm sopping wet, okay. But what to do for you guys, eh? All right, at least the machine is running nice and stable. I'm sopping wet, but that's okay. Ground tracking on, going back onto wettish sand, not that complete wet sand. We can actually change mode back to wet sand mode because the ground won't be as mineralized here. We still have ground tracking on, but our sensitivity is much higher up here, so let's go to about 85. Just you need to find a sensitivity balance that works, that's high enough to give you the most depth, but that the machine still runs stable. And you can easily use this setting. Now I'm going up into the drier sand, which is the easiest of all the sands for any machine to work. You're always going to get more depth, less salt mineralization, yeah. But what a lovely little machine. I actually really like it.
Thanks for sticking with me, that you're still here. I know the video was very long. I'm working on that, I promise you. I will try and make these videos a bit shorter in the future because I know that's a little bit too long. However, what are my conclusions? I really thought that we got some really good depth out of the Quest Q35. I was really happy with the depth that I was getting out of this machine. It was easy to use, it was well balanced, it was light, it was actually a joy to use. The one thing I'm a little bit confused about Quest is the beach mode, why there's just a wet sand and a saltwater mode. What about the dry sand? What mode are we meant to use? I personally still think that the park mode produced the better tones, the louder tones, it more jumped at you when you hit a target, and it was more likely to produce a target ID at depth compared to the beach modes. So, not sure why they didn't have a dry mode in the beach setting. I did find the beach mode tones were a little bit more subtle. You had to listen a little bit more carefully out of the beach tones. I think it uses more like a depth. It was more like a depth tone. So if the target's far away, it's quiet, and when you get closer and closer to the target, it starts screaming at you. But you just have to add a little bit of depth, and it sounds quite far away. Now, I usually hunt with headphones on, so I think if I was hunting with headphones, I would have heard those tones a lot more clearer straight into my ear, and I would have preferred that because that's the way I prefer to hunt. But for the sake of these videos, I don't use the headphones, so you can also hear the tones coming out of the machine. So for me, park mode sounded a lot better with not using the headphones. I heard the tones a lot clearer. It was more like the tones were jumping out of me when I hit a signal, whereas the beach mode was using that depth tone. So if it was far away, it sounded very shallow. And then obviously as you get closer to it, then it starts screaming at you, which was nice. But you just have to add a little bit of sand, a little bit of depth, and then it sounds quite far away. So personally, I preferred park mode, but the beach modes were nice and stable. The ground balancing worked well. Even the ground tracking, where you could move from the dry sand to the wet sand to the, the salt water, it was automatically tracking the ground balance for you. Overall, I was really happy with the machine. If you like this machine, you're welcome to purchase it from us at our website, www.treasurehunters.co.za. If you don't like this machine or want something else, we sell different brands, different models. Have a look at the link below in the description. There's a little discount code, and you can buy any machine you like from us, and we appreciate your support. However, if you're not in South Africa, you're going to have to find your local dealer. I hope you enjoyed these videos, and if you want to see more reviews or a different kind of video, let me know in the comments. Tell me if you liked it or not, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notified when there's new videos out, and we'll catch you on the next video.